understand? A lot of our brothers and sisters we were talking about yesterday don't really realize that we are still slaves. We slaves to America. You understand? I think y'all were at the class before when I was talking about, when you don't own anything, when you got to go to your oppressor for everything, all your needs and all your wants, that makes you a slave. A lot of us have become homegrown slaves because we've been indoctrinated into America so much so that we don't realize this is what slavery is. Slavery is being told what to do, when to do it, how to do it, how much to do, when to stop. You understand? When we have to go and ask and ask, that's like kids. A kid is never independent as long as he lives under your roof. A kid has to come to you for all his wants, all his needs. That's a slave's, that's the life of a slave. And we are enslaved still. You understand? And one of their means of being enslaved is mass incarceration. We talked about that yesterday. This is actually part 2 of the class that we did yesterday. You understand? With that, we're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? That truth is the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives are the true biblical Jews of the Bible. You understand? And our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Now, like I was telling y'all, our class is from slavery to mass incarceration. There is no difference. You understand? Our brothers and sisters who experienced firsthand slavery or slavery as we know, you understand, as the world knows, they experienced mass incarceration. You understand? And we talked yesterday about being emancipated. Being emancipated only means to be taken from being private property and turned into state property. You understand? So when you are emancipated, just like a child, if a child is emancipated, and children can be emancipated at a certain age, when they are emancipated, they are no longer in the custody of their parents, private property, becoming the property of the state. Now, instead of you being responsible for their actions, now they are responsible for their own actions. So when they go out, concert. So now when they go out and they commit a crime or they do something, now they're held responsible by the state. You understand what I mean? This is what emancipation, and this was the foolery that we fell for. You understand, with Abraham Lincoln. And with foolery, they added on what we call now black codes. You understand? We talked about this yesterday. Black codes. Black codes are laws that were created to force us back into slavery or mass incarceration. You understand what I'm saying? So a slave code back in the day was if a slave was found, or if a freed slave was found without $1 in his pocket, you could be arrested. You understand what I'm saying? If you were in the groups of 3 or more, they could be arrested. You understand? If you didn't have ID, you could be arrested. You understand? These are things that they kept us enslaved. So when you look at the bigger picture of mass incarceration is nothing but slavery. America has been built on capitalism. You understand what I'm saying? Capitalism. When we are enslaved, they begin to make money off of us. Now, let me bring out some numbers. You understand? Slavery was a business. America made money off of us being enslaved. Incarceration, being incarcerated, is a business. This is not personal, it's business. You understand? As they say in the movies. You understand? And the business is, the more they incarcerate us, the more they get paid. You understand? This is why police are taught. When they pull you over, what's the first thing they ask you for? Your ID, right? This was the same thing after we were so-called emancipated. These were the things that they asked us for. Where's your ID? You don't have an ID on the street today. What do? They lock you up until we can figure out who you are. You understand what I'm saying? It was what they did back in after being emancipated. These are the vices that they use. Us as blacks, Hispanics, and natives, we fall for the snares and nets. We as a people, and I don't want to delve off too far from it, but we as a people believe we can't police ourselves. They create the conditions that we live in to create other conditions so that they can profit. You understand? Gentrification. How does gentrification start? Somebody tell me, how does gentrification start?
If I could, sir.
Go ahead.
It starts with the one of the areas of interest becomes value, crime, black lady, or impoverished houses, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that.
That's true what you just said. That's true. Hey, Salaki, let's get a tray over here. That's true. Exactly what you said, right? Watch the hot. That's true. What America does in gentrification, America takes away vices that help you to keep your community thriving. I'll give you an example. I used to live in Southwest Baltimore, right? We already have a rat problem down there. So they create a condition of, and you never think about it. We had 2 trash days a week. You remember, sis, you know what I'm talking about. 2 trash days a week. They take one of those trash days away. You understand what happened? Now, look at the community that we live in. The community in Southwest Baltimore had families, five kids, 6 kids, 7 kids. This is not a mother, a father, and 1 child type of community. Trash accumulates. So in that trash accumulate, now you create a rat infested area that grows, right? When people begin to see trash and things in their area, what do? They begin to neglect that area.
Right.
People move in and not caring about the area start to do all kinds of things. A situation is created. You understand what I'm saying? And in creating that situation, you drop the property value of everything around there. Once the property value begins to drop, once the murders start coming in, once the drug peddling starts to go on, everything drops. The main thing that they get out of that is those arrests of everything that's happening in that community. Have you ever seen the city come through and your property has only, your grass grows a little bit and then they try to cite you, but the property that's empty next door got weeds 3 feet high and never gets anything on, because this is a condition created to create a situation. You understand? And all of these things come together and they begin to move these people out into more worse conditions. You understand? Creating a condition where everything happens. They can arrest, come in and do what they want. This is what's happening in these neighborhoods. If you look at Wilkins Avenue today, it's horrible. You understand? It's horrible. I just moved away from there about 4 or 5 years ago. Right there in the heart of territory, terrible territory. You understand? I watched it was already a terrible neighborhood when I moved in there. It got worse. You understand what I'm saying? Mass incarceration is the same as slavery. Slavery is nothing but mass incarceration. It's just they both go hand in hand. You understand? We talked about, you understand, white America in 1865. In 1865, we said this yesterday, all whites in America, 98% of all whites in America was opposed to freeing blacks from slavery. and giving them any kind of reparations. What happens if they give you what happens if they give you reparations? What in that at that time, what would happen if they gave reparations?
They would probably stepped up the level of slaughter they was putting to us so they could take it right back.
No, I'm saying what I mean is, what would we have done if we had gotten reparations back then, sis?
I don't think that we would actually know what to do.
I think you're wrong.
You don't think so?
Well, think about this, right? Without reparations, how was Black Wall Street built? You understand what I'm saying? How was Seneca Village built? You understand how was Rosewood built? See, we had a different frame of thinking back then. You understand? And the different frame of thinking that we had back then, we knew who our enemy was. You understand? We knew who we could trust. What does grab Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 10? We knew who we could trust and we knew who we could not trust. You understand what I'm saying? This is how we get things done. Listen, Zephaniah 2:1 says what? Gather yourself together. Yea, gather together, O nation I desire. We understood that we were a nation of people. Not only were we a nation of people, but we were a nation of people that were not desired. You understand what I'm saying? These being in a homegrown slave as we are today, we forget. And because we forget history, we begin to trust our enemy. We begin to trust the oppressor. We begin to put our spirit into the oppressor. We begin to enthrall ourselves in America. We become Americans. And in becoming a so-called American, we get treated like garbage because guess what? America knows we are not American. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody got that scripture? Go ahead.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemies.
Say that again.
Never trust thine enemies.
Hey, the scriptures tells us to never trust our enemy. Our condition that we are in right now is because of trust. Not because we trust each other, but because we trust our enemy. And anytime you trust an enemy will destroy you. You understand what I'm saying? Think about football teams, right? When the Ravens go out there and play against another team, do they trust that that other team is going to let them score? No, they do not. They do not trust that the other team, so they take it upon themselves and they trust in themselves. They gather themselves together. You understand? And trust in each other. And that's how we have to do. You understand? The scripture says, trust not thine enemy. Go ahead.
For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
It says, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Listen, we keep trusting in our enemy, right? We keep trusting in him. We keep being murdered on the street. We keep getting our properties taken away from us. We keep getting our businesses shut down. You understand? Eventually, we're going to see the true properties. All right, it says, and so is iron rusted. Iron has particular properties. When you trim and you shine iron down, if you let iron sit long enough, rust begins to come up on it. It begins to show its true properties. Eventually, your enemy is going to begin to show their true character. The rust spots on iron is the true character of iron. Eventually, those rust spots are going to show through our enemy. He is going to show us who he truly is. The scripture says, trust not thine enemy, for as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. His wickedness is eventually going to show through. You understand what I'm saying? His wickedness is eventually going to show through. A lot of us, because we don't read this Bible, because we don't understand what the scriptures are saying to us, we don't even put two and two together. You understand? And because we don't get any understanding, thanks to the Christian church, we continue to go out and vote for our oppressor. We begin to go out and support our oppressor. We begin to go out and put our lives on the line for our oppressor. When does it stop? You understand what I'm saying? When does it stop? When are we going to trust in ourselves? And we talked about this earlier. Zephaniah 2:1. Gather yourself together. You gather together, O nation, not desired. We have to understand that we are a nation of people that are not desired. You understand? Right. All right. It says in 1865, 98% of all whites in America was opposed to freeing blacks from slavery and giving them any kind of reparations. They give us reparations. They understood. We knew who they were. We knew that they were the enemy. If we get any kind of foothold, we're going to build and build and build, and we're going to overbuild them. We're going to be above them. Any oppressor does not want his slaves to be above them. They promised us what? 40 acres and a mule. What happened? Because they knew if they gave up that 40 acres and a mule, we would clearly surpass them. Think about this, right? Look at all that. Look at the air. Look at the NFL today. I say that because I'm a football fan. But look at the NFL today. Before blacks came into the NFL, you know, they had oppressors on the sideline smoking cigars and cigarettes playing football and then waking up the next morning going to a job. Same with baseball. Hey, Ruth and them wasn't that rich. They looked rich, but they wasn't. This is the reason why they had to bring us in. Because we need slaves to build us up, just like we had slaves build up America. Mass incarceration is us building up America. Now, let me find paper that I'm looking for. You understand? Because they make millions upon, let's say billions. Because it's a $1 billion operation. You understand? Let's see. There we go. Here we go, right here. Look at this. Think about this. State prisons, right? State prisons, they average stay per inmate per day. Now, this was from 4 years ago. It was $150 a day. That's $150 a day per inmate. I think that's more than a daycare, right? That's more than a daycare a day. You understand? Now think about it, right? I worked down the city jail. It was between 500 and 1,000 inmates, depending on where you went at. You understand? You had from A all the way up to T section, right? You had 40, what's that? 60, 144 on one side and 96 on the other side. Tops here and bottoms here. That's just one section. You understand? If you average that out per year, at that time 4 years ago, that's $54,750 per inmate. Now multiply that times 1,000 in a single city jail. That's just the city jail. We're not talking about the pen. We're not talking about the supermax. You understand? We're not talking about the county jail and things like that. That's just one. You understand? That's over $41 million a year. 750 inmates. That's one jail. So now look at all of these privatized prisons popping up now. It's a business. It has nothing to do, think about it. America has the highest incarceration rate of any country on this face of this planet. You understand what I'm saying? The highest incarceration rate of any country on the face of this planet. We talked about it yesterday. America has what? How many people are in America? What's the average? Somebody pull that average up for me. What's the average of America, of people in America? Somebody give me a number. What's that? Want to say that number again?
333,287,587.
333 million? Ain't it higher than that? Ain't it higher than that?
That's what I got to see.
What's that?
331.9 million.
331.9 million? Well, think about this, right? China has a billion. A billion. That's almost, they got just about 4 times more than America. You understand what I'm saying? Their incarceration rate is way low. They have more thieves and opium sniffers in China. That's where, hey, listen, you got Biden now trying to make a deal with China so he stopped sending in that fentanyl. So they making the fentanyl there. Guess what's happening to them? You understand what I'm saying? It's a business. It has nothing to do about controlling crime. Nothing to do with crime. It's about business. This is the reason why all of these privatized prisons are popping up everywhere. We have to be smart as a people. You understand? We have to get some kind of understanding. The only place we get understanding from is right here in the US, UK. You understand? Under Commanding General Hunt. That's it. This is the only place telling the truth. This is the only place giving people hope, giving people understanding. You understand? Listen, we got juvenile corrections. Listen, juvenile corrections, 1,700 juvenile correction centers in America. Guess who filling those up? Blacks and Hispanics. You understand? You got 218 immigration detention centers. You think they just got them in cages on the border? They got them in cages on the border and they got them working too. Ain't got nothing to do with them coming over here. It's got something to do with them coming over here, demonizing them and incarcerating them and getting them to help build America. Now when Trump said, yeah, I'm gonna get the Mexicans to pay for that wall, how you think he doing it? Incarceration. You incarcerate them and you have them out there picking oranges for a quarter a day. You understand? For one hot meal a day. You understand? People coming from nothing will do anything to survive. See that sister climbing under that barbed wire fence with that baby on her back? You understand? To survive, we'll do anything. We got to understand that we have to come together. We are the true biblical Jews of the Bible. Think about it, right? No other nation over here experiences what we experience. North American Indians are on reservations. Reservations are nothing but concentration camps. That's it. They got no running water. Some of them don't have heat in their houses right now. The brothers, where did the brothers give out the clothing for them last year? Was that in Idaho or something like that? One of those? Yeah, at the reservations, one of those Navajo nations. You understand what I'm saying? We are destroyed as a people. We're being destroyed purposefully. We read Psalms 83 last night. You know what I mean? It says they are confederate against thee. These nations come together. They conspire. Think about it, right? Right now, America is at war with China. But in damn near every corner, you got Chinese people damn near every corner. You understand what I'm saying? In every corner. Think about this, right? Think about what we do personally, and we not Bloods and Crips, but think about Bloods and Crips. Bloods got a whole 4-block neighborhood. What Bloods do you know if they got a 4-block neighborhood gonna let Crips come in and sell in their neighborhood? And I'm just using that as an analogy. You understand? It sounds insane, right? But America has them over here in our neighborhoods. America has conspired with these countries that if we can come to an agreement on this thing over here, we'll allow you to come over here to experience the American reality. See, they give us the American dream, and that's just what it is. It's a dream for us. We'll never be on top of it. They say you can dream about it, but the other nations come over and they experience it. Think about those. You ever see those Asians come over here? They come over here from nothing. If you're a millionaire, if you are a millionaire in America, do you move to China to try to become a millionaire again? If you are poor and you know you can't make it in America, would you move to another country just to survive? You would. And that's what they do. See, these people that come over here are the poor of the poor. But we are so downtrodden that they hang their noses in the air and they think they're better than us. But guess what? They're getting our dollar and then throw their nose in the air. We got to start throwing our noses in the air at them. They are the heathen. We are the salt of the earth. We are what makes America go. You understand what I'm saying? We are the true biblical Jew of the Bible. You understand? Look, what it say? 93 million dollars per year, population of 1,700 inmates. 1,700 inmates can make $93 million a year. 1,700 inmates, depending on what prisons they at. You understand? And we know there are prisons everywhere in America, and these privatized prisons are popping up like clockwork. They popping up in places that don't have cities, but they'll make so. Think about it: $93 million can build you a city overnight. That's another reason why they didn't give us reparations, because 93, any kind of reparations can build us a city overnight. We have given up everything that we had to be included in America. We could have been separated from America. Look, the Palestinians are separated from America. I damn sure didn't know it was that many Palestinians over here until this thing happened. I ain't never seen a Palestinian until all of this stuff happened with Hamas and Israel. You understand? Because they are to themselves. And that's how we have to be. You understand? We can't fight for other nations while we are enslaved and they are not. You understand? It's going to come a day, though, that they will be enslaved. You understand? I got an article, too. We're going to read some stuff back out of this. Because coming out of slavery or so-called being emancipated, what was the main occupation at that time? Think about this, too. Everybody knows about Labor Day, right? Labor Day was created. Why? Does anybody know why Labor Day was created? Nobody knows why Labor Day. Labor Day was created because at the time of the emancipation, all of the artisans or skilled workers were slaves. We were the plumbers, we were the carpenters, we were the builders, we were the masons. You know what I mean? We built everything. You understand? Electricians and all of that. We did all of that. And because we were that skilled labor when America had to be rebuilt after that Civil War, after everything was destroyed and broken down, we were called on to do that. Guess who didn't have jobs? The oppressor. He wasn't a skilled labor. He couldn't do it like us. And then on top of that, he couldn't do it like us at the price that we were doing it for, that we were forced to do it for. You understand what I'm saying? But anything was better than nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So by, what was that, 1865, 1865, 71, by 1871, the labor unions had been started. And what they created all white labor unions. And in order to do any work or any construction, you had to be in a labor union. It was a law created. And having to be in the labor union, blacks couldn't be in the labor union. So all of that skilled work went to the oppressor. You understand? That's how Labor Day was started. So when you celebrate Labor Day, we celebrate the destruction of Negroes in America. Just like when you celebrate Thanksgiving, you celebrate the destruction of the so-called Native Americans or the Indians of America. This is the reason why the Bible tells us not to celebrate these heathen holidays. You understand? Because a lot of these holidays are the celebration of our destruction. We have to understand where these things come from. You understand? And damn near everything comes at our demise. You understand that? All right, here we go. And here's another thing. Now, when I was young, I got to meet and sit and talk with my great grandfather on a few occasions. You understand? And my great grandfather was a sharecropper. He was the son of a freed slave. That was my great grandfather. You understand what I'm saying? And at that time, they used the sharecropping to further enslave us. I guess my family got a little lucky because they got left land and things like that, but a lot of brothers and sisters didn't get that. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of us didn't get that. A lot of us got played, you understand, to be sharecroppers. And I got a article. I'm gonna read the article. You right.
So you said it.
Hold up a minute. All right, here we go. All right, let's read what sharecropping is. Sharecropping is a type of farming in which families rent small plots of land from a landowner in return for a portion of the crop. A portion of the crop they would take to the market, they would sell it, they would, feed their family, get clothing, use it for things to build themselves up. You understand? All right, it says, from a landowner in return for a portion of the crop to be given to the landowner at the end of each year. Different types of sharecropping have been practiced worldwide for centuries, but with the Southern economy in disarray after the abolition of slavery and the devastation of the Civil War, sharecropping enabled landowners to reestablish a labor force while giving poor whites and free black people a means of subsistence. About 2/3 of sharecroppers were white and 1/3 were black. The system severely restricted the economic mobility of the laborers, leading to conflict during the Reconstruction era. That 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 system severely restricted the economic mobility of laborers. Was only directed to blacks. You understand what I'm saying? It had nothing to do with whites. Understand? 40 acres and a mule. During the final months of the Civil War, 10,000 free enslaved people left their plantations to follow the victorious Union Army troops of General William T. Sherman across Georgia and the Carolinas in January 1865 in an effort to address issues caused by the growing number of refugees. Think about it, they're calling us refugees. Refugees. You understand what I'm saying? They free you to throw you out there and call you a refugee. You understand? Of people who came over here as a refugee. Of people who destroyed 77 million Native American Indians, who incarcerated them. That's what those reservations are. Those are incarceration camps. You understand? A temporary plan granting each freed family 40 acres of land on the island and coastal region of Georgia. The Union Army also donated some of its mules, unneeded for battle purposes, to former enslaved people. Did you know in 1870, only around 30,000 African Americans in the South owned land, usually small plots, compared with 40 million others who did not? That's a drop in the bucket. That's a drop in the bucket. That's just like how many athletes are in the NBA today? How many?
A lot.
You think it's a lot? A lot compared to all of us, African American.
Go.
Well, we know it's not, it's not a lot in the NBA compared to all of us together. It's about what, 44 million of us in America today? 44 million. So that's how many blacks are in the NBA? That's a drop in the, say that again?
540 right now.
That's a drop in the bucket compared to 44 million. That's a sweat off the brow. You understand what I'm saying? So when they say that, they make it seem like, well, a lot of people got it. A lot of people did it. You understand? Slavery at its finest. Because what happened to the people who didn't get it? Remember, after the Reconstruction, what happened? They created laws so that we could break those laws so they could re-enslave us. So if only 30,000 got it, and I believe after the Reconstruction, it had to be what, 4 million? 4 million slaves, right? 30,000 got it. What do the other millions do? You got to commit crimes to survive, right? Almost just about. Mass incarceration all over again. Slavery all over again. We look at mass incarceration as though it is not slavery. We enslaved too. You understand what I'm saying? They just being severely enslaved. But we enslaved too because we have to obey our oppressor just like they do. When we wake up in the morning, we going, what we call it? Because
Slavery.
going to our slavery. When they wake up in the morning, what do they have to do? They have to slave. You understand? They have to wait till that meal is brought to them, right? We have to do what? We have to go to our oppressor for our meal. We have to go to our oppressor for our housing. You understand? There is no difference. We may have a little bit more, a bigger box to work out of, but we all are in this slavery or this mass incarceration together. You understand what I'm saying? It says when the war ended, 3 months later, many free blacks saw 40 acres and a mule. Wasn't that many. You understand? Policy as proof that they would finally be able to work their own land after years of servitude. Owning land was the key to economic independence. Did you hear that? Owning land was the key to economic independence. Now, jump to a different article. Says in 2022, black farmers were persistently left behind from the USDA loan system. Now remember, that was just after COVID, right? A lot of things happened after COVID. A lot of farmers were reimbursed for their crops lost. What's going on, Warrior? It's good to see you. I hear that. A lot of farmers were reimbursed for their crops that they lost. And we talking about white farmers. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of white farmers were reimbursed for the crops that they lost during that COVID. They got money, they got paid. You understand? And I know a lot of people heard about that. What was it, $50 billion that, or $500 billion that was supposed to go to the black farmers that Biden was holding up on and he hadn't signed off on yet. Look that up for me, but I want to be right on the number. But black farmers didn't get anything. You got black farmers, think about it, after the Reconstruction, it was over 925,000 black farmers. And if I'm not mistaken, today could be about between 30 and 50,000. And they steadily losing their land. You understand what I'm saying? America does not care about us. You understand? It's all about capitalism. It's all about slavery. This is how America operates. Think about America shipping all its businesses out of the country. So you got East Indians, you got Africans, you got Arabs. You ever call because your phone, what you got? What you got from me?
Washington Post says black farmers will receive 5 billion of stimulus tax in 2021. You know that.
Yeah, but they never got it. They're supposed to receive it in 2021. You understand? Right when the COVID started going down, but the crops were already gone. You understand? These are the things that they do to us. But you don't hear white farmers complaining. Why? Because they get reimbursed. Who cares about us? This is the reason why we have to care about our own. You understand? What was I going to say? Oh man, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, listen, it says Lucius Abram is the third generation to take over the family Georgia farm, an operation that has long grown cotton, corn, and soybeans. When he did not receive a loan in time to buy the seeds to supply and supplies he needed, he joined the Pigfoot versus Glickman class action lawsuit against the USDA. The 1999 lawsuit alleged that the raid was the agency discriminated against black farmers, resulting in uneven distribution of farm loans and assistance. This caused many black farmers to lose their land and farms to foreclosure. Who cares about black farmers? Nobody. Nobody cares about black farmers. Nobody cares about black people. This is why we have a high incarceration rate. This is why we are the last hide in the first body. We all heard that term. You understand? This is the reason why the Bible tells us what? Zephaniah 2:1. We preach this all day long. This is a bedrock scripture. Gather yourself together, ye gather together, O nation I desire. Understanding that we are a nation of people, not desired. We're the only people on the face of the earth that if anything happens to us, we forgive them. We forgive them. All these, look at these Palestinians out here right now. Do you hear any forgiveness in their heart? These Israelis, do you hear any forgiveness in their heart? These Ukrainians, do you hear any forgiveness in their heart? Well, we the only ones that go right on TV. Well, I forgive. I forgive. We forgive the very people that throw us in incarceration. We forgive the very people that enslave us. We forgive the very people that put us in a position where we got to work 2 and 3 jobs just to survive, leaving our children at home to survive on their own. Think about what happened to us down south when we used to have when we had to pick crops and our sisters had to leave their babies alone to go out and pick crops. They would use those babies as alligator bait. How can we forgive a people like that? How can we say we love a people like that? How can we shake hands with a people like that? How can we say we a big one melting pot with a people like that? You understand what I'm saying? How can we love these people? We'll hold a grudge until the day we die with our own people. Never forgiving anything. Brother, step on your shoes. You can't say I'm sorry quick enough before you pull a gun and kill him. As soon as the oppressor step up, you bow your head. Salat, with this man right here. Oh yeah, this is a new one. This is a fresh one. We good. When we gonna start showing our people love? When we gonna start showing our brothers and sisters love? You understand? Think about this. Listen to this. In 2010, Congress appropriated an additional $1.2 billion in a second round of payouts, but still, many did not receive them due to more denials of claims and deadline and processing issues, paperwork. You know what's happening to these people, but still, you put them through the paperwork. I bet you no oppressor had a problem with their paperwork. Think about this. We watched the Hispanics at the border, right? And when everything started happening with the Ukrainians, we seen when they come across the border, they fast tracked and put them in a different line and brought them straight across the border. You understand? Why did they do that? Somebody tell me, why did they do that?
Because they the same, they all one nation.
Exactly. They love their people.
Right.
So much so, they'll put us through a whole lot of paperwork and they'll fast track their people through. Well, so let me ask a question. When are we gonna start fast tracking our people?
Right.
You understand? How do we fast track our people? How do we fast track our people?
Look out for each other.
Look out for each other. That's how we fast track.
Probably.
Every time, listen, I know it's hard, right? I know it's hard. Listen, I grew up in a time where all the corner stores were owned by black people. Every corner store. From Bell and Garrison to Park Heights to Walbrook Junction, all the way down to Poplar Grove and Emerson. All of the little corner stores that you dip into was owned by black people. How many people lived through that? How many people seen that? You seen that before, sis? You seen that? You seen that, sis? You seen that? It's incredible. It's not incredible to me because I seen it and I know it can happen. I seen black people support black people. I seen black stores in black neighborhoods, people not have money, and black people come in and give you credit. They don't charge you no interest. They say whenever you get it, just bring it back. Let me see your ID, make sure I know where you live at. If you need it, you got it. I lived through them times. You understand? I lived through the times where store owner knew you didn't have money as a kid. He would get you to come in and clean up so he could give you a couple of dollars so you wouldn't be out on the street doing something illegal to get money. I lived through them times. I know we love our own people. I know we can come up out of this condition. I know we can change our way. The only way we can do that is come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? We going through this incarceration, we going through this slavery because we don't want to listen to what the Most High tells us to do. You understand? We want to be disobedient. And as a disobedient child, when your child is disobedient, what do? You punish him. Well, what's happening to us right now? I know sisters, I know y'all know, when your child disobedient, you put that foot down. You understand? And if that don't work, you say, I'm gonna talk to your father, and they get it right. You understand what I'm saying? Well, that's that call that we getting right now. That father is asking us to come back and do what he says to do. We have to be disciplined enough to hear and understand. We have to open our eyes, open our ears. The blind have to see. The deaf have to hear. You understand? We gotta get some kind of understanding, and the understanding is right here in this Bible. But the Bible has been so twisted, and we've been getting words from our oppressor of what this book means that we don't even want to hear it from the book. You understand? Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28. Let's go to let's go to 29. This one cat gave me a couple of weeks ago. This one right here. This is one I told you I was gonna take me a couple of weeks ago.
Spoken Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 29. And thou shalt grope at noonday.
Yeah. Go ahead.
As the blind gropeth in darkness.
It says, and thou shalt grope at the noonday. As the blind grope in the darkness, groping. You know how blind reaching out, grabbing out, trying to feel his way through? That's how we are. Trying to feel our way through. As blind. You understand? We believe in and we trust in America. Groping. Trying to feel our way through America. But America does not care about us. This is why we got this high incarceration rate. You understand? This is why we go through what we go through. We are destroyed as a people. When we get out there on Saturdays, we telling our people to come back, get some understanding. We gotta get ourselves together. We gotta be that team. Listen, There is no other nation that has this uniform on. We the only one that got this uniform. You feel me? We the only one that got this. Because think about it. How many Africans stand up for us? How many Africans stand up for us? How many African coalitions you seen stand up for us? Listen, 54 nations are in the United Nations that stand for Africa. All 54 nations. You understand what I'm saying? They have a delegate for every nation in Africa. How many of those nations, how many of those delegates have stood up and spoke for us in the United Nations? You know why they haven't? Somebody tell me why they haven't. Anybody know that? Any one of y'all sisters know why they haven't stood for us? Because they know we not the same. They know they have nothing to do with us. Think about this too, right? I know a lot of the African nations are apologizing for slavery now, right? And they always say, we African, we African. I don't want to get too far off, but they say we African, right? But who are those African nations apologizing to? Who they apologizing to? Somebody tell me. Who? To us. Let me ask you this. Are the Ghanaians apologizing to the Kenyans? Are the North Africans apologizing to the South Africans? Are any of those nations apologizing to any of those other nations? You know why? Because they know they did not kidnap Africans. They know they kidnapped the children of Israel. They know who they were kidnapping. Think about it. Why would an African nation sell their own people into slavery? You understand? They already at odds with the other African nations that are already there. Come, sir. Come, sir. They already know. You understand? They know that we are a whole different people than them. They are the descendants of Ham. We are the descendants of Shem. We are Shemitic. Was that, should I say Semitic or Shemitic? Shemitic. Same difference. You understand? They are Hamitic. You understand? That makes us different. They know this. We are the only people that don't know this. We got all of these marches and everything. Save Africa, save Africa, save Africa. How many marches have you seen Africans say, save Black America, save Black America, save Black America? We need to let them people go.
Right.
And we need to stick with our own people because we are the ones that are enslaved. Africans are not enslaved in Africa. They letting people come steal their land, but they are not enslaved. We are the ones that are enslaved. We are the ones that don't have a land to turn to. You understand? We are a people who have nowhere to go. You understand? Let's finish that. Go ahead.
As the books like it, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
And listen, we shall not prosper in our ways. We go out here, we robbing people, we stealing, we killing, we murdering. We will not prosper in our ways. Think about it. Even in going to work every day, it's hard for us to prosper. Every time we make $1, we got to give $1. You make $1.50, you got to give $1.25. How can we live off of that? We will not prosper in any way. You understand? Go ahead.
Thou shalt only be oppressed and spoiled evermore.
We shall only be oppressed and spoiled evermore. Listen, do you think LeBron James is making $1 million without somebody making $1 billion? You understand? And if LeBron James speaks wrong, the same thing happened to Kyrie Irving. The same thing happened to Kanye West. The same thing happened to Nick Cannon. Is the same thing that will happen to him. This is the reason why when we think we have people in power or of success, this is the reason why they don't speak up for us. Because they know they are really not rich. They are just betrayed or portrayed of being rich. You understand? They're just being They're just the face of black richness. Not really rich, they just the face of it. Because if they speak up for anything about it, Oprah Winfrey, everything that's happening to black America, she ain't spoke on nothing. You understand? She's supposed to be the richest black woman in America, right? Is that her? That's her, right? You don't speak on none of that, huh? None of that. We destroyed as a people, and we are spoiled. See, people are making money off of her. You understand? Her name is what she living off of. If she says anything wrong, she'll be sitting up right up here in class with us. You understand? Right in the back of the class. You understand? But instead, look where our prominent people are. You understand? Go ahead, finish that off.
No, no. It's a lot. And no man shall save you.
And no man shall say, we don't have the power to save ourselves. But the power to bring us up out of this thing is right here in these scriptures. You understand? These law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? Give me what's that? Isaiah 9 and 5, 9 and 10. Isaiah chapter 59 and 10.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 59 and verse 10. We grope for the wall like the blind.
Just like we was talking about, groping for the wall. You know, we trying to feel our way through. You understand? Groping for the wall like the blind. This is how we walk through America. We trusting in America. You understand? We trusting in the laws of America. We trust in this flag. We go ahead, sir. We looking for. What are we looking for? We looking for love. You understand? We looking for answers. You understand? Justice. We can listen. Think about this, right? How can you ask a murderer for justice? The person that murders you, you want to go to court with them, let them be the judge and the jury.
Right.
How can we possibly get justice from that? You understand? We living in this spirit of America. We believe in America. We trust in America. What the scriptures say, we trust in the shadow of Egypt. We trust in the shadow of we trust that America is going to do us right. Well, if we keep voting, eventually it's going to come through. Eventually, hey, every 4 years they bring up reparation. Well, it's getting closer. It's getting one day. Free at last, free at last. You understand? Ain't God Almighty. You understand? I have a dream. You understand? He had a nightmare, and he brought us into his nightmare with integration. I'm talking about Martin Luther King. Integration totally destroyed us. The little bit that we had, integration took everything from us. Think about it. All the way through the 50s and the 60s, we had our own movie theaters. We had our own lunch counters. We had our own bakeries. And what's the little shopping, you know, convenience store, but the one where you get clothes and stuff from. But the like Macy's and stuff like that. But you know, department stores. There you go, department stores. You understand? We had all of that. I mean, listen. Even after they destroyed Black Wall Street, even after they destroyed Seneca Village, even after they destroyed Rosewood, all of that, we kind of built that stuff back up. Some of it, not a lot of it, but some of it. And then integration just wiped everything out. Next thing you know, we had Willie. What was that? Willie Mays in the baseball. Jackie Robinson in the baseball. He had what's his name? Jim Brown and all of them in the football. And then the thing about it is they recognized that we were coming out to see our people. We supported our people. All of those hot dog vendors that was at our football games and baseball games lost their jobs, lost their businesses because we gave everything to our oppressor, just like a good slave. You understand? Now, in order for us to break them chains, we got to take back what is ours. How do we take back what is ours? Has anybody ever heard of a, have you ever heard of a silent boycott? Anybody ever heard of a silent boycott? What's a silent boycott? What's a silent boycott?
You just stop supporting them. You don't gotta say it. Just don't do it.
There you go. And guess what? Every nation that comes over here silently boycotts us.
Right.
Every nation. We don't even realize it. They creep into our neighborhoods. They take everything that we got. Slavery all over again. They robbing us right here in front of our face. You understand? And take everything that we got. And they listen. I told them a couple of weeks ago. Anybody been in? Y'all been to Potomac? Anybody been to Potomac? South North Potomac? They got a whole Asian community out there. Everybody Asian out there. Of course, it's an Asian community. Everybody would be Asian, right? But I'm just saying, everything Asian is out there. Schools, everything. You understand what I'm saying? They come in here, sell us them 4 wings and fried rice, take our money right out there and build heaven while we living right here in hell. Look at us. We destroyed as a people. I hate to say it, we are. But it's a way out of this. We got to do them like they do us. Why do we sit and why do we put up with all of these other nations, but we can't put up with our own people? How is that? That's how destroyed we are. When you can show other nations, think about it. How many times have we heard brothers go into a Asian spot and say "mine pop," call them "mine pop"? We can't even respect our own elders. But the very people that say, hurry up and buy, buy and leave, you can call them mom and pop. Respect them. How many times have you seen an Asian shot in the street after disrespecting black women? How many times? Never. But we bump into each other, we look at each other wrong, and we all on each other just like that. That's a destroyed people. You understand? We got to turn the tables. We got to turn these tables and we got to start showing that love back to us. You understand? Love thy brother as thyself. You understand? We have to recognize when it says love thy neighbor, it's not talking about anybody who lives next door to you, no matter what nation they are. It's talking about your own people. Christ said what? I did not come to what? The lost sheep of the house of Israel. You understand? It is not meat for me to give the bread of the children to the dogs. Call these other nations dogs. These other nations turn around and treat us like dogs. You understand? Flat-faced people. How they gonna be treating us like dogs? You understand what I'm saying? Funny looking self. They ain't got no bodies, no nothing. How can they can't even run? You understand what I'm saying? How we let them disrespect us like that? Now I'm not saying go out there and kick them in their butt or nothing like that, but we got to start silently boycotting them. We got to show them that we are the true biblical Jews of the Bible. We got to show them that we are the salt of the earth. Listen, no other nation, no nation rides without us. Think about it. If these Asians come over here and we don't allow them into our neighborhood, what do? They don't eat shrimp fried rice. You understand? I mean, we don't either. But they don't eat those things that they sell us. Do you see that slop in the cup they be eating when they be bent down on and squatted in the corner eating out the little cup? That's not what they be feeding us. You understand what I'm saying? These people are not even on our level. They don't even we don't even see eye to eye with them. How do we let them beat us out like this? Understand is right here in this book. Everything that we need is right here. Go ahead, finish me off right there.
And we grope as if we had no eyes.
Look, we groping as if we had no eyes, if we can't see. We can't see what's going on. Think about the thing that happened in New York when the girl got beat up by the people up in New York, right? When they got beat up in the hair store, the Asians beat the girls up in the hair store, right? And then the next thing you know, they started to boycott the store. And then the store put up a 50% off of everything sign. Everybody dropped their signs. And what is that? What are we? What's the matter with us? How can't we love ourselves? If I hate you, I hate myself. If you hate me, you hate yourself. How do we hate ourselves so much so that we would destroy ourselves and love the nations that hate us? How is that? You understand? Go ahead.
Oh, God. We stumble at noonday as in the night.
Listen, we stumble in the noonday like it's dark, like it's pitch black and we can't see. Stumbling over our own feet, stumbling over obstacles. You understand? Doing the stupid things that we do. Everybody looking at us like, yo, what's wrong with them? Look, nations of people come over here and say, yo, I know you, I see you, I know who, we know what you do. You understand? You destroy. Go ahead.
We are in desolate places as dead men.
We are in desolate places as dead men. These neighborhoods that we living in are desolate, destroyed. You understand? We living in utter poverty, while these other nations are living their best heaven, living their best. Think about it, right? Chinese people don't fly here from China every day, sell us 4 wings and fried rice, and go back home. They don't do that. They got their own heaven that they have built over here in America off the backs of us. Just like America was built off the backs of the slaves, China has built their heaven off the backs of the same slaves. The Ukrainians are building their heaven off the back of the same slaves. You understand? All of these nations that come over here, the Arabs have definitely built their heaven off of us. I don't even know where they live at. I don't know Arabs live in my neighborhood. Where are they going at with my money? Where are they going at with our money? They building their heaven. They come in here, they come into the slums just to take every nickel and dime out of our pockets.
Right.
Because they know what they can do to the slave. They know what they can do. And then after they take all our nickels and dimes, then we get incarcerated. Everybody feeding off of us, one way or another. You understand? And then we turn around and try to feed off our own people. We destroyed as a people. We got to love each other. We got to build out. Listen, we got to start it right for our children to come up.
Right.
We got to start planting this seed in our children. Because if we don't, we're going to perpetuate the same thing over and over and over again. We're going to live the same slave life over and over and over again. This is why we have to build our children up. We have to let our children hear this right here. We have to tell our children the truth. Think about it, right? They trying to take, what's the name out of school now? What they call it again? Critical race theory. Critical race theory is true American history. It's how they destroyed us as a people. It's how they took our name, our lives, all of our records, everything from us. They totally destroyed us. You understand? They don't want their children to know who they really are. So they say, no, we can't teach that here. This is what we're going to teach, this right here. You understand? The pilgrims came over here. The Indians helped them through, and they had a nice Thanksgiving, and we celebrate that every year. That's not Thanksgiving. We talked about it a few weeks ago, the Pamunkey peace talks. The Powhatan Indians were destroyed. They had peace talks with the so-called pilgrims. Pilgrims poisoned the wine, killed most of the Powhatan Indians, and the ones that didn't drink the wine, they bludgeoned them to death. Thanksgiving. Every time we celebrate Thanksgiving, that's what we celebrate. Independence Day. We are free from the British, but we're gonna keep them niggas enslaved. That's what we celebrate every time we celebrate Independence Day. Salakia, sir. Salakia, I'm sorry.
Right.
But this is what we celebrate. We celebrating the destruction of our own people. How can we hate ourselves that much that we celebrate that? I'm saying that so these kids can hear, so that every time these days come up, you don't celebrate that. That's the destruction of us. That's the destruction of our ancestors. We can't celebrate that. You understand? That's like going out and celebrating the death of your mom and your father, and your father. Would you do that? So why do we celebrate these holidays? Why do we celebrate the destruction of our people? That's the kind of understanding that we have to have. What you got, bro?
I was just asking that. You said, why do we celebrate that? That's because they have cut us off from being a nation.
Yep.
You know, they enjoy their out here.
Grab it. Grab that. You understand? You just brought it up. They have cut us off. They have took everything that we've known. When you beat something, listen, it was a documentary maybe 2 years ago, but they showed it about a couple of months ago. It was a Native American Indian. They said they put him into a what they call those schools, a boarding school up in Canada. They had him in a boarding school. He only spoke his language. He said they beat him. They beat him. They did everything to him, so much so that they beat his language right out of him. Said by the time he turned 60, the only thing he knew in his language was his name. He cried so much because he tried hard to remember his language, but he couldn't. You understand? These are a murderous people that we are under. We are enslaved, whether it be slavery or mass incarceration, it's all the same. You understand? We destroyed as a people. And like I said, our children are who we have to put this information into so that they understand what's going on. They understand and they recognize the enemy. A lot of us we're throwing our kids into these schools, these all oppressive schools, and our kids are being destroyed every day. Our kids come home, they cry out, and we say, "Oh, don't worry about it. Man up. You understand? Be strong. Be strong. You understand?" And we steadily destroying them, steadily tearing them down, steadily messing them up, until one day we turn around and they done destroyed themselves. We at a funeral crying about what happened. This is where we getting that understanding right now. You got that? Let's read that real loud.
Book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 4. They have said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation."
Hey, listen, this nation has cut us off from being a nation. They beat everything out of us. They beat the understanding out of us. They beat the love of our own people out of us. They have said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation." We don't even look at ourselves as being a nation no more. We don't even look at ourselves as being Israel no more. You understand? When we speak of Israel, you close your eyes and you say Israel, we think of that small hat that we see.
Right.
We think of that so-called Jewish man. You understand? When we say Israel, that's destroyed, because that's not even who Israel is. You understand? It says, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation." Read on.
"That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance."
We don't even relate Israel to ourselves. We don't even relate ourselves to being Israel. That's how destroyed we are. We don't even relate that to ourselves. How is that? You understand? How is that? When we got our records are right here. Our laws, these are our laws, statutes, and commandments. This is where we get our moral compass from. All our morality, everything is right here in this book. Tells us how to operate against the other nations. how to operate amongst ourselves. If we have indifferences, this book tells us how to work out our indifferences. That's how we build ourselves back up. You understand? Our oppressor has made this book almost like kryptonite to most of our people. So much so that we don't even want to hear what's coming out of it. Not understanding that this book is the book that can free us. Think about this, right? How many Muslims you see walking around in dresses that are free today? I heard a dude say it's what? It's over 4 million Muslims in America, right? Over 4 million Muslims in America, and they ain't changed a thing. Compared to them, it's only a few of us, and we making a change right now. How many Muslims have you seen go out and feed those people at the border? How many Muslims have you seen set up and feed the homeless? How many have you seen? We'll see that because that is not our culture. That is not our custom. This book tells us what to do. This book tells us how to go out and feed our people. We just clothed our people Saturday up in New York. The best man, that was thousands. That was the best feeling in the world. Coming around that, listen, we came around that corner and them people was damn near cheering and they kind of, that made the hair stand up on my neck. Because I finally felt like I was doing, I mean, I always feel like I was doing something, but it felt like I was being rewarded that day. You understand what I'm saying? That was a feeling I ain't never felt. I ain't never felt. The closest thing I felt like it when I played my first football game in high school. I ain't gonna never feel that again. You understand what I'm saying? But that was that feeling. When you do for your people. Have you ever, have you ever out of the spare, like you didn't plan it, but out of nowhere, you did something for somebody and you seen their change and you seen how it made them feel, and then all of a sudden you get that feeling in you. That's that feeling we should have all the time, helping our own people. We should always have that feeling. You understand? We should always stand together. Right. It's not in vain. It's not in vain when you see people being built off of what the help that you give them, because we all need us. That's the only way that we make it. Think about it, right? How many times have you seen Asians come into the Chinese store and buy Chinese food? I ain't never seen that. I ain't never seen that. Do you understand? These people not built off themselves. They are built off of us. Let's silently boycott them and let's build us up. Let's help us. Let's do for us. You understand? I mean, we are the salt of the earth. We are the flavor. We've been saying that since the 80s. I know it's been longer than that, but you know what I'm saying? 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s. We are that salt of the earth. We are what makes America go, not Dunkin' Donuts.
Right.
We would make America run. You understand? You good? Look, I ain't got that kind of power. You got that kind of power. You understand? We gotta build us. You understand? Hey, do me this one. See, hold on. Grab that Deuteronomy. Whoops. We're gonna go from 28 to 33. 28, 33. Let me know when you get that.
Yeah, let's go.
Nice and loud, all right?
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 33. The fruit of thy land and thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
You hear that? It says the fruit of thy land. Our brothers got all this farmland dwindled down to that much. The fruit of that land and all the labor that they put into that land is going to go to a nation that thou knowest not. You understand? This oppressor is taking the lifeblood from our people off of this land. He did it to the Native American Indians. Look at everything that they took from the Native American Indians. Look at what they took from the Hispanics. Remember, New Mexico, what's that? Texas, California, New Mexico, all of that stuff right there was Hispanic land. It's still land. It says, the fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up. They're eating off the backs of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives. They're eating us alive. You understand? The Bible, listen, this is in the Bible. This is not something that we made up. We didn't write this book. You understand? You can go to Barnes and Nobles and get the same book. These scriptures are in the same book. Those preachers and pastors are not going to tell you this. Because why? Because they're making their bones off of us too. They're making their bones off of us too. Go ahead, finish that.
And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed away.
And crushed always. You understand? We are only oppressed and crushed always. What you said, $50 billion? 5 billion?
5 billion, sir.
$5 billion in what's that? In hold. And black farmers are steadily losing their land. Slavery. It's nothing that we can do. Listen, when you live, what is it? When you live in another man's house, you have to live by that man's rules. How can you go to that man that's stealing from you and ask them to give you justice? How? Because that's what we do. Every time we sit and we go out and say we're going to march, that's what we're doing. We're looking for the very people that oppress us, that rob us, that destroy us. We asking that very people for justice. What sensible people do that? What sensible people do that? See, this is understanding for our children. I know y'all get it, but we saying this for them too, because we have to get them to understand who the true enemy is. Listen, the enemy is not your brother or your sister, your people of your nation. It's not your enemy. You understand? These are the people that you have to come together with. That enemy is the oppressor. We got to get understanding. We got to start showing our brothers and sisters love. You understand? We have to show commitment. These classes is commitment. We're bringing understanding to our people. You understand? Drop that and let's go down to 38. Deuteronomy 28 and 38 right now. This is going to be my last one. Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 38. Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field.
And those brothers worked hard to build those farms up. Listen, after the Reconstruction, you brothers and sisters worked those farms hard. You understand? to make that farmland what it was. Like I said, it was over 925,000 black farmers, and that's still just a little bit, but it's a start. You understand? 925,000 black farmers. Today, it's between 30 and 50,000. You understand? Which is a drop in the bucket. And every day, brothers and sisters are losing their farms every day. Every day because we living under the same oppressor. We still in the same slavery. You understand? We got to gather together. We got to bring some understanding. What you got?
Talking about black people losing their farm, bro.
Yeah,
It's a lot of our cousins. When the immigrants come over here, that's the first place they throw them in the field.
yeah.
Work strawberry fields, orange groves, apple groves, especially in Cali. It's like,
Listen, check this out, right? We should be the last people to say we losing our jobs to immigrants, because the immigrants that they bring over here, them jobs that they giving them, that's not jobs that we want. At least I know I don't want to be up in the tree picking no apples and no oranges. I don't know about y'all. If that's something that y'all like to do, then so be it. But that ain't something that I really. Plus the age I'm at now, man, I don't want to be out in the sun like that. You know what I mean? That's hard on the brother. But this is what they doing to our people. You understand what I'm saying? This is what's happening to us. What you got?
Well, I say, if you add about what you're not saying, ain't nobody really losing their jobs to immigrants. It's just they wanna make that possible to keep them out the country.
Listen, check this out, right? A job can't be given.
They don't want them to have jobs. That's
Right.
the real-
Right.
That's
But listen, an immigrant can't take your job because that job being given to them. By who? By the oppressor. The oppressor is the one giving them jobs away. Nobody take a job from you.
Right.
You understand? No job, and that's the propaganda that's been used on us. A job can't be taken from you, especially a job that you don't want anyway. You understand what I'm saying? But this is the propaganda that's put out there, and I've heard black people say it. Man, they coming over here taking our job. What job they took of yours? I got a job. I'm working. Ain't nobody took none from me. You feel me? I'm just saying, it's like what he want to do ain't what I want to do. You know what I mean? But we fall for the propaganda of the oppressor. You understand? We fall for the lies. We fall for the untruth. You understand what I'm saying? And then on top of that, instead of going at the people who really is out here really destroying us, we go at our own. You understand? We'd rather show our anger at our own people as opposed to, you know, turning all of our energy against the oppressor. You understand? How do you turn your energy against the oppressor? You begin to love your own people. You begin to support your own people. You get out here and help your own people. Like I said, this Bible is a history book. It's a moral compass. It's laws, statutes, and commandments. This book has nothing to do with religion, and that's where we get destroyed at. You understand? Religion destroys people. Think about it. Christianity is a religion. It has totally destroyed us to the point where we give forgiveness after forgiveness after forgiveness after forgiveness. The Bible tells us there's a time for love, there's a time for hate. You understand? We've always been told you ain't supposed to hate. The Bible says there's a time for love and a time for hate. The problem is we direct our hate at our own people, not at the people that we should be directing it at. You understand what I'm saying? It's a time to love. We show our love to the wrong people instead of loving our own people. You understand? It's a time to be joyous and it's a time to mourn. You understand? I remember we was in church. They party in church now at funerals. a time to mourn. If you don't mourn, all of that stuff gets backed up. When your loved one dies, you're supposed to mourn. It's always a time to party. You got time for partying, but them times of mourning are times of mourning. It's a time where you got to sit back, you got to sit down, and you got to reflect on your loss. You understand what I'm saying? These are the things that we were taught not to do. This is why we so destroyed as a people. This is why we so turned around and backwards. You understand? With that, with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? The truth is that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives are the descendants from the greatest people to ever walk the face of this earth. And the Bible identifies us as the true biblical Jews of the Bible. With that, I'll turn the class over to the priest officer, Darwin.
All right, security announcements with the Israelites slogan. With the ISUPK out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a brother or a sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Ties, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi 3, 8 through 10. Means 10th in Hebrew and is pronounced Ma'ashera. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, you give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocations. We got we're still in Hanukkah, Salaki. The next feast day is February the 23rd, which is Purim. All right. Get your $200. Don't get your $200 fee over to the Passover for the Passover fee, man. Pay the Passover fee early. Don't waste. Don't hesitate. Get that money in now. We're gonna have an outstanding time next year, man, for the Passover. You understand? We remind Akim Nakwathim to check in on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he has to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. With that, we'll get one courage salute to the teacher, Men of Israel, mighty, which means stand. By Shabbat, mighty, Barak. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Brakatah. That's Matah. Saw, turn face to sisters. Men of Israel get one courtesy to sisters. Sisters, Amadia, which means stand. Men of Israel, Amadia, by Shabbat, Amadia, Barak, Yahweh Shema Alatham Ba'Shem Yahushua. Yajim Ta, class dismissed.
Vermont, I want you to record this real quick. And real quick, we still live on the screen too. I just want to do, we want to do something real quick. My thumb, I need you up there. We just want to recognize a brother. Hey, Shemai, real quick. Shemai, would be quiet. I need everybody's attention real quick. Salaki. I want you to turn that sideways. I need that landscape view. You understand? And of course, this is a tradition in school. We want to recognize this brother. Where you at? The top. Hey, shut up for a second. Someone recognize True Batak. Give him a hand real quick. Right here. here in the Israelite School UPK, in order to become an officer, you have to go through many tests, not just one test, many tests. And this brother then fought and triumphed and exceeded his expectations to become an officer. Oh yeah, clap it up. Oh yeah.
That's right.
To become an officer in the Israelite School of UPK, you understand?
Right.
Of course, just like when you got your name, you're taking an oath to hold down this truth and to hold down this position and to hold down this office. You understand? It's a great, absolutely great responsibility and a great honor in the earth. You understand? I'm saying, hold it together, brother. Hold it. We almost done. Hold it together, man. You know what I mean? We're gonna anoint you with this oil. Let's get the camera on. Yeah, you get the camera on. We're gonna anoint you with this oil. We're gonna make this official. You understand? Under command of your honor. Today, you'll no longer be a trooper. Today, you will be raised to an officer of 50 in the Israelite School of UPK.
Come, Yashah.
Under command of your honor, you did.
Top.
So let me get those prayers if I could.
Get this camera.
It should be in this one.
Yes, sir. Sir, let's turn the camera up here. Just get on the camera. Be on the camera. Be the cameraman. So when we do the prayers, get us. Then we get to him. Just put it on him. Just turn it. Use the hand. Just use the hand right there.
Am I in the middle?
Come on, Pastor.
I'm in the middle.
Come on.
Eyes on the right.
There you go. There you go.
I'm gonna send up this anointing prayer. And anointed this brother with oil tradition, Israelite tradition here. Rather than earned the rank and the responsibility as an officer of 50. Is it in this one or is it the other?
It should be in there.
It might be in the other one. Grab the other one from me. I think it's in this one. It's in the back.
Back slide.
All right,
There we
you
go.
got it. Most of it, you got it. So just the brothers up here is going to repeat after me. Everybody take a step back. Just the brothers up there are going to repeat after me. Yabaraki Yahweh.
Yabaraki Yahweh.
Yashamaraka.
Yashamaraka.
Yahweh.
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 Ayaka.
Ayaka.
Yakanka.
Ayakanka.
Yahweh.
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 Ayaka.
Ayaka.
Yashamlaka.
Yashamlaka.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahashim.
Bahashim.
Yahushai.
Yahushua.
Barak.
Barak.
Rapah.
Rapah.
Magan.
Magan.
Hagan.
Hagan.
Top Arya.
Batak.
Arya.
Top Arya.
Batak Arya.
Top Arya.
Batak Arya.
Bahashim Yahushai.
Bahashim Yahushua.
The water Aman.
The water of mine.
Congratulations.